The MoneroTopia guest segment is sponsored by Cake Wallet. Store, send, receive, and exchange your Monero and Bitcoin safely on iOS and Android too. Cake Wallet is open source, and you always control your own keys.
Alrighty. Hello.
Oops.
Happy landing. Is that you, Kay?
Oh, yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Testing. Can you hear me? Now you can test.
Pretty good.
1 2 1 2 test.
Perfect.
Takes me all back to my old concert promotion days. Testing. Hi. Great to meet you. Finally.
Yeah. Thanks for jumping on. Go if you want to give a little intro of yourself. Obviously, you don't need to reveal too much. Stay as anonymous as you'd like, but just so people know who we're talking to.
Well, I'm not Japanese, but I've been in Japan for more than 30 years, in the Tokyo area and now outside of the Tokyo area. And recently I discovered how many different kinds of creative housing there are available in Japan and around the world. And I'm putting that together with the properties I see available. And I'm thinking it's amazing, an amazing chance for anyone who wants to get out of America, Canada, or Europe to make the escape to Japan. This is a relative, it's a relatively safe country. And the only thing, let me talk about the bad points in the beginning, because I know there are a lot of probably anarcho-political fans out there, as I am, and a lot of people define freedom as the ability to do anything, except for hurting someone else. And I know there's a lot of people who smoke and take certain substances that are illegal in the United States and Canada and probably Europe. So that's one thing that you cannot do in Japan, because if you do, you'll be in jail. And you'll be in jail for a certain amount of time before they deport you. So it's not a good place. If that's your bliss, then Japan isn't your bliss. It's not your
that's important to know, right?
Yeah. For a lot of people, that's very important. And if I was in that mode, then it would be very important to me. But I'm not at this time. So.
But a lot of other aspects of the society are very liberated and free, right?
Actually, this is, I think, one of the few places I know that is not censoring their people, which is a big deal. It's a really big deal. We don't have any cops running around here arresting people for something they said on the internet 5 years ago, like they do in Australia or England, and getting to be in America now. So that's a really big thing. And that's freedom to me.
How about just the kind of the surveillance state? Obviously, China is very much a surveillance state. The U.S. Are you saying Japan, despite all its technology, perhaps is more respectful of people's privacy?
Oh, it's very respectful for people's privacy and property. Property rights are almost absolute. That's an amazing part of Japan. I think you may have heard about some of the old homes that get abandoned and are finally, after many, many years, a decade or more, probably several decades, go back to the government, who then takes charge of them and finds people to renovate them and buy them, or they rent them out. And that's called IKEA houses. You probably heard of that. Have you?
No, I really don't know much about that.
Okay, that's a whole other topic. But the reason these houses are abandoned, It could be the owner has passed away, or they don't want to pay the relatively small taxes on the property. Um, Small taxes to the extent of maybe less than 10% of the property value. Um, so the government does not have a right and does not confiscate anyone's property for back taxes. I've never
That's
heard
big.
of it. I've
That's
never
big.
heard of it. Now, if someone owns millions of dollars, that might be different, but as on the average level, I've never heard of it. So they may come after you, and try to get you to pay. But as far as and like there may be an upper limit to this, but average people do not get their properties confiscated. In fact, I don't. I'm trying to think of anything that's confiscated in Japan. Um, the tax thing is very is it's very the tax protection of the government is very strong, and if they feel that you're withholding taxes, especially income taxes or company taxes, then they're going to go for you. They're going to go for you, and that's one of the reasons. Strangely enough, it's one of the reasons there are very few NGOs in Japan. There are a few very well respected MPOs that take a very long time to be established and to have that recognition. But NGOs are almost unheard of in Japan.
And then how about the crypto scene itself?
Oh, okay. Well, let's see. Monero has always been my first love. So I got involved with another crypto group in Tokyo area. Actually, it was a Bitcoin Cash group. And it's been wonderful because the people are very freedom. They're totally freedom people, and but it was well, defined. I won't say restricted, but defined to be a Bitcoin Cash only. I remember after the first 2 or 3 meetups, I went over to the leader and said, "Well, I really like to get some Monero," and he goes, "Well, this is a Bitcoin Cash meetup." So I just kind of gave it up. But it's been great, and
How did you become such a Monero person? I would like
just
to hear
the
that part of the
idea
story.
of privacy,
Mm.
and knowing that first when people started coming around and talking about Bitcoin, they were saying, oh, everything's open, all of the transactions are transparent, and I thought, okay, that might not be such a good idea. So when Monero came into my view, I thought, that's what I want. That's exactly what I want. Why can't I get some of that? And this was before, well, I think I realized it around the time they had Bitcoin Cash vending machines, but I didn't know where
Mm.
they were. So
Hmm.
I was looking on the internet, and by the time I heard Jeff talking about it, Jeff Burke talking about getting, cake wallets and logging into um, what's the name? Ogre, Trade Ogre.
Okay.
And
Okay.
as soon as I got into Trade Ogre, they had this notice that came up on the screen. This we're stopping to take Monero now. So there may be some time in the future we'll take it, but we're not taking it right now. And I thought, oh no, I can't I can't even swap what I have for Monero. It was a sad day. But anyway, I finally got some Monero, and I'm happy with it. That's
I love it. Now, th- it's first of all just seeing your listing on XMR Bazaar. That was one of my top 10 XMR Bazaar moments. Like, wow, there's somebody
yeah,
in Japan that's selling
yeah,
property for Monero.
yeah,
Is this real? And
yeah,
it is. You're a Monero loving person that's actually selling property for Monero.
yeah,
Um, that's exciting to see. Now,
yeah.
is there a community today that would like a Monero community in Japan? Like, is there anything going on there with regards
Well,
to Monero? I mean, because Monero, as far as I understand, isn't even listed on any centralized exchanges in Japan, right? It's been delisted, I believe,
um,
from all the centralized
yeah, a lot
exchanges.
of the centralized exchanges have delisted it. Um, well, what I can say is about 2 or 3 years ago, there was a Japanese guy running a Monero meetup. Um, and it seemed like there were very few people. I didn't go. And I was quite involved with the Bitcoin Cash group, which actually is really a great group. I've met Roger Ver there a couple of times, and like I said, the people are great, very freedom-loving people. But anyway, so that group seems to have disappeared, and there's no Monero meetup right now in Japan. I'm actually thinking of starting one. We'll see what happens, but
Yeah,
that's the only thing I can think of.
start
So
small.
yeah,
So obviously, so legally, it's perfectly legal. It's kind of like here in New York, right? New York,
no,
Monero is not on any of the centralized exchanges,
no,
but it's perfectly legal to use Monero, to accept Monero for the sale of
right,
goods and services. That's the same situation in Japan, correct?
right. It's absolutely not illegal. Um, what else can I say? There are some people in Japan, like everywhere, that are afraid of anything anonymous. So I think there's a fair amount of people in Japan. I don't know the percentage that would be a little afraid of Monero, but I haven't really heard anything bad against it from anyone or from the news or anything.
Is there a strong cash culture in Japan, or it's
Very much, very much, very
okay?
much. People
That's a good
really
sign.
hate. A lot of people really hate this cash credit card only, or
Mm-hmm.
what do they call it? Electronic money, and they call that
Mm-hmm.
credit cards. They're starting. They've only just started in the last year or so to have a, you know, denki money. Denki is electric. Um, checkouts at the supermarket, and a lot of people will use them, and a lot of people won't. And I just refuse to use them. I know one supermarket I go to, they notice me in line, and they shift one of their cashiers over to the checkout stand. So that's good for me here. But yeah, a lot of people are very. On the other hand, they're very pro electronic. They're very pro. Oh, it's convenient, and oh, I can do it with my hand. I can do it with my. I can pay with my phone. So yeah, it's I don't know the percentage. I would say it's definitely half and half, and I think a lot of people are still on cash.
Mm.
Um,
And did they also culturally like it because it's private, and they may want to sell things, like is there, here in the U.S., right? You have a garage sale, you're accepting cash, right? You go to a farmer's market, everybody prefers cash. Did they prefer it for those reasons as well, just because they don't want the government knowing every time they're making a transaction? They don't want everything to be a taxable event.
I think that some people are like that, but I think it's still a small portion of people who try to use Monero and other things to hide their purchases. Um,
Well, just cash in
yeah,
general, though. Like, is it
but
like,
cash, definitely
yeah,
cash.
okay.
Um, yeah,
I guess what I'm
yeah.
getting at is, do you think it's ripe for Monero adoption in Japan?
I think it
There's
is. I think it is because in essence, privacy is very important, and there are some people who have followed the UN propaganda, and I have one neighbor that says, "Oh, I have no privacy anymore. I've thrown out privacy." And so, "Oh, really?" He doesn't really understand, but he's a great guy. We're up here in the mountains, and he sets traps out, and he traps the wild boar
oh wow.
sometimes. Yeah, and skins it and you know, everything. So I've got a lot of hand the guy a lot of credit for that.
That must be
So
freaking delicious.
yes, well,
Some Japanese forest wild boar.
yeah, yeah. It's pretty much like regular pork, the ones
Okay.
I one I've
The
tried.
wild boar
So
I had in Poland was really good. It was
yeah,
definitely a different. Okay.
yeah, um,
Wow. I don't really, you don't really think when you think of Japan, obviously, you think of Tokyo, and obviously it has
yeah,
beautiful nature there, but that's you don't really, it's not the first thing that comes to mind. But so where
yeah,
you are, it's beautiful
yeah,
mountains and nature, right?
yeah, yeah. Exactly. I'm so happy to be here, and that's part of it. I want to share my happiness with others. You should come here and live here too. You
It
don't
must
have
be
to, but
beautiful
I
quality of
love
life.
it.
Yeah.
I love it. So I'm so
What
glad
it,
that I got out of Tokyo.
what is the weather like where you are
The
year round?
weather is a little cooler. Tokyo and the bigger cities. I mean, it's just the temperature is changing now. Last week I had the air conditioner on, and this week I have the heater on. It changes that quickly. So it's always a little bit cooler up here, and we get snow, whereas Tokyo and the flatlands will not have snow. So, but it's only
And,
about 500 meters above sea level.
and a lot of sunny days.
Um, well, at different times, it's been quite sunny and it's been quite dry. But when the rainy season comes in, and I'll tell you, the one of the downsides of Japan is people haven't really become aware of chemtrails yet.
Hmm.
So this region where I am. It's also when you go down on the flatlands, it's farmland, it's rice fields and other vegetables, and this is where they're spraying the chemtrails. And
Hmm.
Japanese really haven't woken up to this. They spray them in Tokyo and Kanagawa area too. They spray them all over, but they just haven't had enough publicity about it to do something. And I hope to help that too, if possible.
Tell us about the land that you are selling.
Well, right now I have some little parcels, like I said, about 300 square meters, which is about 3,000 square feet, 3,200 square feet. So it's enough for probably an average house, small to average house with a front yard and a backyard. It's about that big, although American properties are much larger. They're 2 or 3 times as large. Might have 10,000 square feet in a
Hmm.
total, rural suburb property. So, and there are different types of properties. Some are quite flat, some are rocky, and some. I have one that I think would be great for a treehouse because it's full of trees and of different sizes, quite a few large ones. I'll have to go check it out and count them all, but I think it would be great. Um, and
And all these properties are in the same region of Japan.
They're in the mountain region right now,
Hmm.
yes,
Hmm.
because that's the area I live. And
And these are properties that you own or that you're helping to sell on
yes,
behalf?
yes,
Okay.
a few of them are properties that I own myself. And then what I'll do if someone wants something different, I will look on the Japanese market, and I will help to introduce them to a Japanese realtor. So we work together. I can work with Japanese realtors. And I
Now,
also work on, go ahead.
no, go ahead. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
I also work on a consulting basis, and I can do research, different things I can provide.
Hmm.
Find something for a finder's fee, or even just do promotion on a property. For instance, if someone wants to sell their property in the United States, Canada, or anywhere else, I can promote that here and arrange a buyer.
Oh, that you should put that up as an additional listing.
Okay. Hey,
Offering your services, consulting
oh, that's
services,
that's a good idea.
even
Very
just for
good.
moving for those people that want to move to Japan, right? Buy
Right.
property and move to Japan.
Right, because they'll
Um,
have to sell their property there.
Yeah.
Someone here
Cool.
might buy it. I don't. It's probably more likely they'll find an American buyer, but it could be a Japanese buyer.
Now I saw you had a house that was listed initially. So did that sell?
Right, right. Yes, the guy took care of it himself, so he had a buyer. But I was so enthusiastic when I found Monero Bazaar. I said, "Hey, why don't you list it over here? Let me list it for you. Maybe you'll find someone here," because he had just had a cancellation on the property. So
It
he was
seemed
a little.
great. Yeah, more
I
of those
know, I
to be.
know, I know.
It
There
seemed
are
very
others.
reasonably priced. Is that
Yeah,
that's the
yeah.
general
Well,
market there?
yeah. Um, well, I think it was an especially good deal. Um, that's why I was really curious why it hadn't been sold. But they're usually around that price. Now it won't be concrete structure. That's one thing that was a bonus for that property. But generally speaking, a brand new house built in this area can go for about, let me see, I think it would be around 120 million. Um, I'm sorry, 120,000 in American money, which is quite reasonable for a brand new house.
Yeah, very reasonable.
And that is made to anti-earthquake specifications. So I think it's
Hmm.
pretty good, but it's going to be small compared to America. It'll
Right.
probably, yeah,
Yeah.
less.
So like these plots of land that you're selling,
Mhm.
would you be able to build the house that like similar to the one that you had posted?
Yes, that property was, I believe, was a little bit larger. I think it was
Hmm.
400 square
Okay.
meters. But it was on a hill. In the back of that house, it goes up. There's a big slope. And a lot of the properties in the mountains are like that. So you need to have a builder that knows how to build on slopy land or a cliff.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm. But it must be
and that can
beautiful
be
and have
done.
beautiful views as well, I would imagine,
Well,
right?
some of them do and some of them don't. So
Hmm.
if you're, lucky to get a Fuji view property that adds on. There are I don't have any property with that right now.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, they exist, and
It'd
they're
be good if.
in yeah
Go
in
ahead.
this area they're quite reasonable
Hmm.
because it's
Yeah,
fairly
maybe
far from Tokyo.
it would be good to see other pictures too, so people can understand, like, so
Yeah,
maybe
I'll
like
have to
what
do that.
what the house would look like if you put it on these plots of land that you were selling.
Yes, yes, I have that
Um,
coming up on my website. I haven't quite finished it, but if you want to take a look, it's japanland.net, and
oh, okay,
it should be coming up.
japanland.net.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
And it has some examples of some modular and maybe, what do you call them? Tiny houses,
Mm-hmm.
um, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm trying to make another page of all of these different properties and
Mm-hmm.
the not mobile, but modular houses and tiny houses that you could put on them. And a lot of them are really beautiful. I'm so surprised. A friend of mine
Fantastic.
actually, yeah, a friend of mine actually had a land basically leased to her. I think it was leased or given to her. This is down in the southern area of Japan. And she bought two small little houses, wooden type log house, not really logs, but wooden houses at the home center building. This is kind of like, what do you have there? I forgot the name, Lowe's or something. It's a lot of hardware and home things. And she bought them and she put them on this property. And one of them is the cookhouse and its table and everything. And the other property is the bedroom and the living room. And she did it for, let me see, how much were those? Those were like about 600,000 each, which means 1.2 million. And subtract about a third or a half, maybe she did the whole thing for, no, 80,000. I no, it's maybe even no, it's less than that. I have to do this by hand. I think it was more like about $10,000. And she had this. Well, actually, it was in two separate houses, and so she had a house on incredible acres of land for that price. She did give it up and she came back to Tokyo to do DJing work. I hope you can understand DJing work. She's a DJ, and but it was an amazing thing. I've got to see if I have that picture somewhere because it's just incredible what you can do with a limited budget. So I'm hoping to reach people in America who think, oh, we
Hmm.
can't go overseas. It's just too much money and the flight and everything. And actually, you could do it. You could actually do it.
What what would the process be like for an American? You know, somebody. Let's say somebody goes and they buy property with Monero from you.
Mhm.
What's the process with moving over to Japan and you being a resident, or how long can you stay, or the process to stay? And
Well, if say you bought a house online with Monero and you've never been here, you've got to come here first of all. So you
of
have
course, of
airfare.
course.
You've got to you have airfare. And as an American and Canadian, and I think some places in Europe, you can get just a 3 months tourist visa as soon as you get into Japan through the airport. You don't have to go to a Japanese embassy in your country and get a visa. So that's very easy to get in. And then if you are buying an old house, you would have a house to live in. If you didn't have a house and only land, you need a place to stay. So you can rent or you can buy one of these um, mobile homes or modular homes or do-it-yourself kits or tiny houses. The one that was on my um, one on my page at XMR Bazaar was the new Tesla. What is it called? Tiny house, tiny home at Tesla. And I think I commented that I wouldn't want to sleep on top of that lithium battery. So that's a bit of a risky home as far as I'm concerned, even though it's under $10,000. And I'm sure they could ship it to you in Japan. They probably have a Tesla dealer here. And you could probably get that set up to get you through the home building uh,
Process.
scenario if you wanted to do
A user
that.
58 is asking, is camping legal on your own land?
Of course, of course.
Yeah,
This is again, private
it's
property
good to.
privacy is utmost. And now most of the properties, not all of them, but most of the properties I have are in what we would call a mountain development. In other words, someone has come in and bought acres of land, then they divide it up into parcels, mostly of them around the same size, which is 300 square meters or 3,000 square feet, although some are bigger and double and some might be a little smaller. Then that company, that development company, sets up an office and they have a relatively small fee. It's about what is it, $1,000 a year? Could be a little more, or could it be a little less, or more if you have a big house on it. Um, but um, I wouldn't compare them to a homeowners association because they don't have any rules. You can build whatever you want on your own property. Yeah, I'm going to say that again. You can build whatever you want on your own property.
And that
Is
is
that
amazing
is
because
that cool? Is that cool?
that is very cool because you can't do that
Yeah.
here in New York, especially.
You don't have any homeowners association say, oh, hey, your grass got above 10 inches. We're going to fine you. What was it? $1,200 a day. And the guy's on vacation. He comes back to like a $20,000 bill. It's insane. It's totally insane.
I,
So we
I
don't
think
have that.
you could be onto something here with
No.
Monero people opting out
Oh,
and
yeah.
moving to
Oh,
Japan.
yeah. Yeah, I think
Now,
so.
what's the property tax situation over there?
It depends on your property. If you have just a small piece of land, oh, I can't imagine it being more than like I don't know, a couple $100 a year. I'm not sure. I'll have to check it for the real small properties. But if you have, let's say you have, this is what I know most about. So you have an older house on a property about that big, um, and it's probably going to be around maybe $300 a year, something like
Wow.
that. Now, if it's a newer property, it will be more. If it's a bigger property, it will be more. And I think they have some other conditions about the land, and maybe if it's a view land or if it's by the sea or something could be more. Okay, and I'll have to check on these exactly and put the figures up or in a newsletter or something. There's a lot of information here that I have, maybe almost a book course, but I will put them up on the internet so you can see.
Now, so you mentioned getting you'd get a 3 month visa. You come in,
And that's
but
renewable for at least one time, two times. If you say we bought a property here and we're trying to build a house, I mean, sure, I think you could stay at least, a you know, 9 months or a year. And as long as they know that you are self-supporting, and you're not getting into trouble, so, you know, so I think you'd be fine. And again, if you have a 3 month visa and you extend it once, and maybe they're questionable about, well, we don't know if you're going to get another visa, then you just go out and come back in. Go over to Korea or you go back home for a vacation and come back.
mm,
Then you get
hmm.
another 3 month visa.
Now,
And
how
if
do
you,
longer term? If you're you want to stay longer term,
right,
how do you transition from there?
okay, if you're not marrying a Japanese person, then I would suggest that you have a business, start a company, or what you can do if you're already in a company and are entrepreneurial, I would suggest you offer to make a branch of that company here, which is another way to do kind of more of a working visa, business visa. So there's all kinds of things you can do. And after you're here 1 year, only 1 year, I think you need to have a visa and not a tourist visa. But let's say you have a working visa or you get a job. It's usually a 2 year contract on most kind of works. But if you're here 1 year and you can write and speak Japanese at a first grade level, that means a 6 year old, you can apply for citizenship. I
Wow.
think that's pretty good. Yeah,
Yeah, that's not bad.
yeah, yeah. So there's a lot of possibilities about being here, being more free, I think, than you are in America, and being able to stay here longer if you want to and if you like it. I would suggest to anyone, if they can afford it and they're thinking about buying a property, come here first and look around. You know, there's a lot of other properties too. I don't really have. Well, I can find them for you, but this is the area I know. I also know the area in between the Satami area and Tokyo that's called Kamakura. It's called Kanagawa area, Kamakura, sorry, Kanagawa Prefecture, and it has the famous city of Kamakura in it. So it's all very nice area and also by the sea. And so
So let's say I was interested in before actually investing in a property. Like, okay, I'll go to Japan and check it
yeah,
out.
and check it out. Absolutely. Then you know what you're getting into. And you might not like it. You might think, "Oh, I don't like this." And the people are uptight and I don't like that. And don't buy a house. It would be better that way. Or yeah, rather than just coming cold. But people are different and some people are really up for an adventure.
True, true. If I was coming for, I mean, like, it sounds like if you're trying to seriously consider, you might want to go there for a couple months. But if it's like, okay, I just want to go there for a couple weeks, what do you
Sure.
think that would look like? Because obviously, a couple weeks. I don't know if you could. I mean, maybe you could rent somewhere to stay for a few weeks, but I
There's
imagine it's usually
Airbnb here.
okay.
They have a lot of Airbnbs and of different types. You might wind up in a room in someone's apartment in Tokyo, or you might wind up in a quite a luxurious house out in this area or another area. Depends on how much you want to spend. But for 2 weeks, I would say if you're thinking of living here, then definitely go out and look around at places, look around at homes, at land. Don't just be stuck in Tokyo.
Yep, for sure. And that's probably the most expensive place you could be in Japan, I imagine.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, at the prices I'm dealing with here, there's no way you'll get that kind of land in Tokyo. For a house, um, oh yeah, it's yeah maybe 10 times as expensive.
And that house you had up on Xmar Bazaar previously, was that one sold? I'm guessing it probably was sold like not for Monero.
No, it wasn't. The guy that had the house for sale, I said, look, put it over here on Monero, and they might, oh, I don't have Monero. I want Bitcoin. I said, okay, well, I'll change it for you. We can change it. Don't worry about it. Just try to advertise it here. It looks really great.
I'm not gonna lie, it was
That's my idea.
never been to Japan, but seeing that, I was like, that's kind of like approachable, and kind of tempting in a way. And I'm sure Doug
Yeah,
thought the exact same thing. And
Oh
then
my god.
for
Yeah.
Monero as
yeah,
well, that's
yeah.
amazing.
No,
Grab
So
that for Monero and have your little vacation house in Japan. I
no.
mean,
But mind you, there wasn't a lot of closet space there. It's more, I would think it would be more like a weekend home or a rental. I would want more closets. That's all I'm
sure.
saying. You know,
just the idea though, being able
yeah,
to get
it
a
looked
house like
nice.
that.
It
Yeah.
looked great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. I walked in and wow, love it, love
I
it,
guess
love it.
Japanese properties in general, like homes, are probably typically a lot smaller than your average mid-size family
Yeah,
home in the U.S.
the average house, the one I'm thinking of that would be a new house that you could build around here in this area for about 120, 150 for sure, would be about 80 square meters. I think that's about, anyway, it's about, I guess, 1,000 square feet, 900 or 1,000 square feet. So it's not really huge. And that's probably on a land that's, you can put it up here too. But the ones that are down on the flat area, usually the land is about half the size, 150 square meters. So that would be about 1,500 square feet. So it depends on where you want to put it. You get a better deal up in the mountains. See, now the way I grew up, and I spent some time in LA in the Hollywood Hills, I mean, that area is more expensive than the flatlands, right? Up in the hills, wow. And here it's, and unless you have some really elite properties, and I've seen those, but your average house up in the hill is usually less expensive than it is down on the flatlands. And that's another thing that makes me think, wait a minute, these places are underpriced. But that's my opinion, not financial advice, as they say. So, yeah, I think they're a great deal. I really do. Especially
All
getting a
right.
newer one, then you don't have to worry about repairs. If you do buy an older house, around 50,000, maybe 40,000 even, you're going to have repairs. 30 or 40-year-old houses tend to need some repairs. 40 year olds and up, 40-year-old house, 50-year-old, you're going to have repairs and major ones. So, but it's something you can move into and then use that to stay while you're building your house and then move out and sell it. So that's possible. I find so
Fantastic.
many, yeah,
No, this is
so many
like I said.
possibilities.
Yeah, this is very exciting. It's it's real, right? You go on XMR
It's
Bazaar
real.
today. You can
Yeah.
use Monero. You could buy land in
Yeah.
Japan, and you can start living over there. You can start camping out on your land, build a little
Yes.
home.
Yeah. I would
That's
myself
rare.
now the Japanese are very private, and I think you probably have an idea of how Chinese houses are, Japanese houses, and a lot of them have they have concrete walls or brick walls all the way around their property. Okay. And in my opinion, if I was to just camp on my property, I would put up some kind of wall or a lot of
Right, right, right,
shrubs,
right.
and it just, you want more privacy too. And, people going by and looking, there would be very few people going by and looking, but, you know, um, I would be a little more private,
And you also
especially
want
if
to
it's
acclimate
something,
to the cult. You want to acclimate to the culture, right? You're coming
yeah,
to this country. It seems to be very, liberating in many ways, but you want to be respectful of the cultures and customs as
yeah,
well of a country, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
A good well, I spent like 20 years in Tokyo. So for me to come out here and have the privacy I have among a group of Japanese who, you know, just really give me privacy and respect when we meet each other. And I love it. I love it. It's not the crowded of Tokyo, and it's not people, you know, always smaller neighborhoods and concerned about your neighbors. So, sorry if that's not clear. I'm getting a little groggy.
No, you're great.
No,
And obviously I wasn't sure who to expect, who was going to come out. You never know who the person is on the other end in
yeah,
Monero when you're
yeah,
talking to an Anon. So
yeah.
I'm glad you're a real person who's
Oh,
actually
I'm
into
really,
Monero.
I'm
You've
really,
actually been living in Japan for 30 years. This is all very cool.
yeah.
Thank you so much for jumping on. Obviously,
Oh,
you're welcome to come on the show anytime if you want to give us an
great,
update on
great.
things.
Yeah, let me do it when I get the website up
Okay.
with
Yeah, and
more things on it.
anything we
And
can do to help you grow
oh
Monero in
yeah,
Japan, we're more, we
yeah.
could help perhaps help in ways. Would
Are
love
there
to see that
are
happen.
there? I have a question. Do you think there are any? Well, you don't know if they're Japanese or not. Any Japanese in your audience? Have you ever had any communication from people in Japan? Probably not.
Not really, not that I know of,
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
Where are you now? You're in New York City?
I'm in New York, yeah. Queens.
Wow, wow,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's
Not
interesting.
not exactly,
Hmm.
Freedom Town, but
Yeah. Wow.
yeah. But I'm
Okay.
born and raised here. I have deep roots here, a lot of family, so
Hmm.
it's not that easy for me to pick up and
Yeah, well, family,
leave.
that's a big thing. That's a
Yeah,
big deal.
I have strong
You
roots.
have to get a big house so they all can come and visit.
Yes, exactly. Couple of pieces of land.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you again. I think we'll leave it here.
Oh,
Is there any other
great.
information
I
you want to put
yeah,
out there?
and I'm
Anything you want to?
getting a little sleepy. It's about 2:30 a.m. here. So
Oh wow, wow, wow! You got to
yeah.
drink that green tea, right?
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
that's another
Yeah.
thing too. I mean, the quality of
High on
life,
green
right? The
tea.
food,
No.
the food must be like the food quality and everything must be so great over there as well, right?
Well, if you go for the organic, yes, and if you grow your own, yes, but let's face it, it's a regular society, and Japanese, like Americans, eat a lot of junk food. They eat a lot of instant ramen and a lot of obento and rice balls with little bits of stuff in them. Um, there's a lot of junk food here, a lot.
But I would imagine even that is less poison than our junk food. I don't really know much about it over there in Japan, but I
I'm
feel
not
like.
sure. I think it's a competitor, but I'm not sure which one is the winner. You know.
Okay, okay, okay.